In this video, I'm going to be sharing the 3 power moves that really shifted me and guided me to exactly what I wanted to do with the next phase of my life. This is video 2. Video 1 was dropped yesterday. If you haven't watched that, you probably want to stop this one now. Go back and watch that, and this one will make a lot more sense to you. So exactly 6 years ago, it will be 6 years in about 4 days, exactly 6 years ago in 4 days, I walked away from a 30-year corporate career with no plan, no strategy, no idea of what I wanted to do with the next phase of my life. But I knew what I no longer wanted to do. That much I knew. And so over the course of the next few weeks, months even, I will be sharing in quite a lot of detail exactly what I did, what I learned, the many coaches I worked with, the experiences I had, the retreats I attended, the one-on-one programs, the group programs. I'm going to be sharing it all, giving you the experiences, giving you the highs, the lows, giving you the challenges, the strengths, and the tools, the strategies, what I learned, so that if you are in a point in your journey where you are in a season of transition, maybe you have raised your children who have now left home, maybe like me, you are stepping away from a corporate or professional role to do something more personally meaningful and fulfilling. Maybe you are moving country, you're relocating, maybe you're moving on from loss, from divorce, from bereavement, whatever it is, and you are looking for what's next for you in your life, then this series is something that you want to subscribe to and and follow along. So there are 3 power moves, 3 main shifts that happened to me after I left. Go back and watch video 1 if you want to know exactly what happened immediately after I left. So first of all, I mentioned yesterday, I started to watch podcasts, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos. I started to see people who inspired me, people who I admired, people, some of who I never knew before, such as Jay Shetty. I never knew Jay Shetty before this. And as I watched them, as I stood on the sidelines admiring them, I know now, although I didn't know it then, but I know now that there was something in me that was sparked by watching them. There was something in me that got excited, something in me that said, there was something in me that said, that could be me. I didn't know it then. So these are the 3 things that 3 experiences I had that helped me to recognize, to realize, to confirm that what I was seeing and admiring in them is what was in me and what was being sparked. It was the spark that was being ignited within me that I saw in these people. So the first thing is, I think it was in May, it may have been in June of 2020, I attended my first ever seminar. I don't know I don't remember ever attending a seminar before. So that was my first seminar, at least as far as I'm aware. And it was called The Blueprint of How. Now, this seminar was focused on helping people to identify and launch their dream. The first part of launching anything is knowing what it is, recognizing what it is, right? So if this is you, you follow along. This will be helpful for you to follow along and maybe use some of these tips and tools and strategies to help you recognize what it is that you want to do with the next phase of your life. So the first thing was to recognize what we had in us, recognize our purpose. Something that I learned or I heard for the first time in that seminar was that you're not lost. We often say, oh, I'm lost. No, you may feel lost, but you're not in fact lost. Why? Because you're not a 10-pound note or a $20 note. You're not lost. You may be feeling lost. You may have gone off track. You may be out of alignment with what your soul is yearning for. But that's an aside. I remember the analogy that I learned in this seminar that really helped me to shift, to move the dial, to think beyond my current sphere, if you like, was the analogy of imagine that you are given a tub of ice cream, and imagine that all you have to eat the ice cream with is a knife. All you have is a knife. Tub of ice cream, your favorite flavor. No spoon, no fork, but a knife. Not that you'd want to use a fork, but hey ho, to each his own. But you haven't got either of those anyway. All you have is a knife. And you have to eat the ice cream. Now, the question is, can you get ice cream from a tub into your mouth? The answer is yes. Yes. Can you do it successfully? Well, I guess if you can get it into your mouth, that's successful, right? But if you had a spoon, would the experience be the same? No, it would be a much different experience. If you had a spoon, would the spoon do a much better job of getting the ice cream, especially as it melts from that tub into your mouth? The answer is yes. The spoon will definitely do a much better job. What's the point of that analogy? The point is, a lot of us, for some of us, we have learned, we have been knives, or let me say that differently. We have been spoons doing the job of a knife. What does that mean? For some of us, we have been in environments where we have learned to do the job that we have. We have learned to do the job that's in front of us. And we have then learned, because we've done it for so long, we have learned how to do it quite successfully. But there's still something in us that's missed, that feels that we're lost. There's something in us that feels that something is missing. Like I often say that I felt that a part of my life was unlived. Well, I like to think that that part of my life that was unlived was the spoon needing to do its job. It was the spoon in me. And maybe if you feel the same, maybe it's the spoon in you yearning to do its job and to give up trying to be a knife, to give up thinking it's a knife, or the knife in you wanting to be a knife, wanting to slice stuff rather than shove ice cream from a tub into your mouth. So that was for me anyway, one of the big ahas from the seminar. It made me think, where am I a spoon but functioning as a knife? Where am I a spoon but functioning, but doing the job of a knife? Maybe it's time to go back to being the spoon. I also heard for the first time, I've heard it a lot since then, but I heard for the first time in that seminar, whenever you wake up is your morning. So I say this because it was at the age of 55 that I went back to look for my spoon. It was at the age of 55 that I walked away from a 30-year corporate career. It was at the age of 55 that I recognized that there was a spoon inside of me that was waiting to be birthed. And it was at the age of 55 that I allowed myself to be the spoon. Because that was when I woke up. And whenever you wake up is your morning. So that was the blueprint of how it was a 2-day seminar, virtual, because we were still in lockdown at this point. This was, as I said, April or May, maybe June, I'm not sure, of 2020. And so that got me thinking of, as I said, where have I been functioning as a knife? when in fact I am a spoon. And then shortly after that, I had my very first coach. Now, since then, I have had several, shall we say, coaches, and I'm going to be sharing all about that journey over the course of this series. But I had my very first coach, and she helped me to experience. She took me through the experience of the second shift in the course of coaching with her, in the course of saying to her, I feel lost, I'm not sure what my purpose is, but I know that I am either a spoon doing the job of a knife or a knife doing the job of a spoon because there's something not quite right. And she asked me to do something that at the time was truly provoking, truly, truly provoking, maybe even alarming. I would go as far as saying. You're probably wondering, well, what did she ask you to do, NA? What did she ask you to do? Let me tell you what she asked me to do. She asked me to write my own eulogy. Let me say it again for those at the back. She asked me to write my own eulogy. So at first I was horrified. I mean, who wouldn't be? My own eulogy? Are you serious? But because I'm coachable, I did it. I wrote my own eulogy. That activity brought me to tears. It's actually making me feel emotional right now. That activity brought me to tears, and I'll share with you why. It brought me to tears because at the age of 55, I recognized that in terms of my career, my professional career, there was nothing I had done that I wanted in my eulogy. Now, the reason why this is so profound is that I had had a 30-year corporate career. I had worked for some of the most recognizable global brands in the entire world. I'd worked for Goldman Sachs, I'd worked for AstraZeneca, I'd worked for Shell, I'd worked for HSBC, I'd worked for Visa. I'd met some amazing people. Did I mention AstraZeneca? I'd worked for Travelport and a few more. But I didn't think that anything I had achieved in that season, a 30-year season of a 55-year-old life, so for longer than I'd been alive, I didn't think that there was anything I'd done in that season to me that I wanted, that I felt was the proof of my life, the 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 evidence of the footprints in the sand of my life. So that means, or that meant, that for 30 years, I'd been chasing I'd been chasing a different battle. I'd been singing to a different tune. I'd been walking in somebody else's footprints. But, but I don't mean that to sound all negative and doomy and like, oh my God, I wasted my life. No. Why? Because nothing is wasted. One, nothing is wasted. Why? Because the biggest reason why is because somewhere in a corporate role right now sits a woman who I hope will somehow find me, find my message, and somehow my words, my voice, my experience will be the catalyst for her to ask herself, where am I being a spoon when I'm in fact a knife? Or where am I being a knife where I know that really I'm a spoon. So I don't share what happened to me like it is pitiful and regrettable. What would have been regrettable is if I had not recognized it and then done something about it. By the way, if you are that woman, if you are a woman who is sitting in a cubicle, if you're a woman who's sitting in a bank of rows, if you're a woman who's sitting in a corner office, if you're a woman who's going to a job that no longer serves her in this season of life, and you would love to chat with me, either to get my guidance or just to have a chat. Then in this video will be my calendar link. You're more than welcome to schedule a call with me and let us talk. I would love to meet you. I would love to get to know you. I would love to hear your story. And I would love to share more of mine. Because as much as I'm doing this series, there's no way I can share every single part of the last 6 years or the previous 30 years in a series of videos. So that was shift two. That eulogy exercise was truly powerful. And the reason why I don't regret the 30 years was that eulogy, another reason I should say I don't regret the 30 years, is that eulogy exercise helped me to then dream, if you like, dream with my eyes wide open on what the next 30 years look like. Okay, so if you say that the previous 30 years have no business in your eulogy in it, well, what does? And so maybe this can help you. If you're brave enough to write your eulogy, I invite you to. If you're not, but you still want to do something as deep and as profound and as shifting, then the third shift I'm about to share with you may be more suited to you. This is what I ask my clients to do. I don't ask my clients to write a eulogy, not because I don't like it, because like I said, it's one of the top 3 shifts that happened to me in 2020, but because I have something that really speaks to me, and this is it. I ask my clients, I invite you to get a picture of yourself about the age of 5, 6, maybe 7. If you can hold an actual picture, an actual physical picture like I'm holding in my hand, this is not a picture of me, but let's just say, then that's even better. If you can't, look at her on screen. And I want you to look at her. I want you to, without judgment, without criticism, without fear, and without guilt, look at her and ask her. Look at her. Look her in the eye. Look at her. And for a few seconds, just look at her, reconnect with her, step into her and have her step into you. Be one with her because you are, in fact, her. And ask her, what promises did I make to you that I haven't yet kept? What dreams, what goals, what desires, what plans, what play dates, what love, what joy, what games did we say that we would play in this life of ours, in this one life of ours that I haven't yet kept? I want you to I want you to know that she's not mad at you. She's ready. She's ready. Now is her time. Now is your time. And I want you to let her live her life. I want you to let her live her life now before it's too late. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know if you are brave enough to do any of these exercises. So exercise one, where are you playing the role of a knife when you're in fact a spoon? Exercise two, are you brave enough to write your eulogy? And exercise three, what did your 5-year-old self tell you? What messages does she have for you? I'd love to know your comments. Do get in touch. My Calendly link, as I said, is right below this. Let's schedule a call. Let me get to know you. Let me get to pour into you, if nothing else. Until next time. Bye for now.